welcome back to the Galley of the Sun. I'm Rowan, I'm Greg's daughter. Recently I baked a set of cookies for Greg, and it's a funny story, really. I have anxiety, and I like to bake and drink wine, thus the public speaking. But we were in the grocery store, and I was like, baking wine sounds fantastic for my anxiety right now. And Greg goes, you know what sounds really good? S'mores cookies. And I was like, I think I can do that. And that came into this recipe, which is graham cracker shortbread cookies, which is a basic shortbread cookie with some graham cracker in it. I made it and everyone went buck wild. Absolutely buck wild. And so they decided to have me on the show to help share it. So what you're gonna need for this recipe is a stand-up mixer with a paddle attachment. You can do this with a hand mixer as well. If it has a paddle attachment, it's just more muscle consuming, and I don't like using my muscles. You will also need saran wrap, and later when we put them into the oven, a cookie sheet and a cooling rack, as well as butter, sugar, graham crackers, flour, salt, and vanilla extract. True vanilla extract, not the fake stuff.
Yep.
All of the amounts and the directions will be in the description of the video for you to follow. First step is to combine 12 tablespoons of softened butter and 2.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract until it's creamed. So you're gonna wanna start on a very low mix with the paddle just to not have it go everywhere, and then go up to a medium until it's blended into it'll be kind of a warm cream color with the butter. So it should get to that nice creamy color with the vanilla. That's a warmer tone for in about less than a minute. I would say about 30 seconds to 40 seconds, depending on how good of a mixer you have. The consistency of the butter should be about this, which is a nice kind of fluffy texture of the butter. And that's when you know that you can go on to the next step. In between each step, you can always scrape the edge to really get a good even blend. I recommend to do that. So the next step is to combine the sugar and the salt into your butter mixture until it is a grainy texture that's blended throughout. You're gonna, again, wanna start on a lower mix time and then get up to medium. You never wanna go farther than a half speed of your mixer because then it might blend too much, which gets the shortbread to become more crumbly than you need it to be. So in between the steps again, scrape the bowl. This time you're going to want it to be a texture almost like a buttercream fluff to it. It'll be this light color, and you don't want to be able to see the crystallized of the sugar within it. So after scraping the bowl down, you're going to want to add the flour and the ground graham crackers. A comment on the graham crackers: I blend my own into graham cracker crumbs, but you can buy them. They're just more expensive than just buying graham crackers and making them into crumbs yourself. You're going to want to blend it until it is a doughy consistency. It'll be a little bit flaky and it should be a light brown color. Start out on low speed because of the flour, unless you have the cover that keeps it from going up, and then go to medium speed. Again, never a high speed, it'll combine too much and the shortbread will fall apart. When you're combining them, combine them in parts. I always do about 3 parts, so put a third of it in, blend it a bit, add another third, blend it in, and add another third. If you're seeing that your dough is a bit too dry, add vanilla extract by a half tablespoon at a time. That will give it a bit of moisture it might be a little bit sweeter than this combined. If you need to, while combining the flour and the graham crackers into the butter mixture, you can use a spatula to scrape it down, and you'll know that it's completed when it starts to crumble off of the walls instead of sticking to the walls of your mixing bowl. Once your dough isn't sticking to the walls anymore and is kind of a crumbly texture, you're going to get some saran wrap and put it into a ball and make it into a circle with your hands first. As you can see, it looks kind of crumbly. You're going to press it down with your hands to combine it. It needs that bit of crumble to have the correct density and texture when it's fully baked, unlike other cookies that are like sugar cookies and whatnot. When you have it into a sort of rectangular shape, fully wrap it in the saran wrap. You're gonna wanna shape it into a brick and then put it in the fridge for at least an hour. You can take as long as you need to shape it into the brick position because we will be cutting it into slices once it's chilled. When you're making it into a brick, you want it to be as even as possible in the density. I would say about an inch and a half probably from all sides, and I do about 2 inches, 2.5 inches in width. It will look very crumbly, as you can see. That's just kind of how it is with shortbread. There we go. Our brick, we're gonna put it in the fridge for about an hour at the least. You can leave it in longer if you need to. We will see you back in about an hour. So it has been an hour. The dough has been in the fridge cooling off. We have preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that it's out, I had made a double batch of this and I realized that the first batch I didn't mix it all the way, so mix it for another like 30 seconds and it combines a bit more and it's less crumbly than that I showed you. So afterwards, it'll come out like this, a nice solid brick. You're wanting to cut it into a 1/4 inch slices and lay it out on a cookie sheet. About an inch apart because they're shortbreads, they don't expand as much as other cookies do. And that should be enough space for them to bake in the oven. They should come out to about that thickness, which is again about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. If it's too thin, it falls apart and it doesn't get the thickness that you need for it to be a shortbread cookie. So you can use parchment paper, but silicone sheets too also work for layering on top of the cookie sheet. Okay, once you have all your cookies laid out on your cookie sheet, you're gonna put the cookies into the oven for about 10 minutes, rotating it halfway through the baking time at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so they come out this beautiful golden brown color. And as you can tell, they haven't expanded much. So we're going to let them cool on the sheet for about 5 minutes before we transfer them over to the specific cooling sheet to cool completely. You want to try one, Dad?
Ooh, I'd love to.
Go ahead.
I'll try the last one.
Last one?
Or is there one that you don't want?
That one I don't want. You could try that one.
Is it ugly?
It's ugly.
Oh, it tastes so good though.
It does taste good.
Oh, nice, hot.
Okay, so the graham cracker shortbread cookies are done cooling now. As is, I like having them with tea or coffee in the morning. They're a great texture. If you want them as a dessert, a way that I like to do it, and what started this whole cookie recipe making, was to do a s'mores cookie. What you're wanting to do is get melted chocolate. I did mine in a double boiler with water boiling in the bottom and tempering the chocolate on the top. You can also do it in the microwave with a microwave safe bowl. It is going to be 1 cup to a tablespoon of shortening. And once it's melted, you're going to take your cookie, dip it in the chocolate, drip off the excess, and lay it in a cookie sheet that has a protection layer on it. Once you have your cookies dipped in the chocolate, you can go ahead and let them sit out to cool or put them in the fridge to cool. Obviously the fridge goes faster. It's gonna be about 20 minutes in the fridge. And for that s'more treat that we were talking about, we get some handy dandy marshmallow cream puff. Get a batch, take a cookie, slather on as much as you want, and then dunk it in the chocolate. Set it on a cookie sheet that has a protection layer on it so that it's easier cleanup. And then let it cool in the fridge for about 20 to 25 minutes. So now the chocolate has cooled off in the fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes. It's the 3 ways that I did the cookies. You got the plain graham cracker shortbread cookies, that's the recipe for. You've got them dipped in chocolate, which is always delicious. Or the thing that made everyone go crazy, the s'mores cookies. Now, as you see, they were the marshmallow fluffed dipped in chocolate. And when you break it apart, you got the ooey gooey goodness on the inside. All the deliciousness of a s'more inside of a cookie. Thank you for stopping at the Galley of the Sun. I hope you subscribe, comment, and follow below. Have a wonderful day.